Let's talk about the Kengan Ashura anime versus the manga. But first, become peak Chadness. You want to watch the anime and read the manga, of course, while also subscribing to the channel and joining the Discord for more greatness. Now, I hope you enjoy. So, for the anime, there's 2 seasons of 12 episodes, yes, which is done in full CGI. I know a lot of people have issues with watching full CGI anime, but me personally, I don't mind it, and the CGI done throughout Kengan Ashura isn't the worst, and it's pretty solid throughout. And if not, it enhances most of the fight scene with the amount of like directing and angles it can capture with the use of the CGI element in it. And with it being full CGI, it can really make it unique and fully grasp everything that the manga shows in detail and enhance many aspects of that. A prime example of this is the Kano Agito versus Okyo fight with the grappling scene and everything that was shown throughout that. The studio that works on the anime is known by Lara X Entertainment, an animation studio that hasn't done very other. They've only done like 2 other anime apart from Kengan Ashura season 1 and season 2. So they're not that well known, but from what I've seen from season 1 and 2, they did a pretty good job, and from their other work it seems that their focus is on full CGI anime, so that's good to know. That's what they're good at, so that's what they're going to continue using. A highlight of the anime that you don't get in the manga, of course, is the soundtracks for each of the characters. Each character having, or each main fighter having their own little soundtrack as they enter the stadium and as they leave and so on, so which is good to see, which being a major high point of the anime. With the first 2 anime seasons of Kengan Ashura covering about half or a little bit less than half of the full manga run of Kengan Ashura. Now comparing it to the manga. So for the content that's shown in the anime, it's more of a focus on the major fights, and some fights are shortened, changed, and some aren't even covered prior to the Annihilation Tournament, as the Annihilation Tournament is the main aspect of Kengan Ashura. But all the stuff prior to the Annihilation Tournament was mostly skipped for the anime. You don't really get much development for Oma in the anime as well. You do get later on in the manga, but early parts we get to learn more about Oma and see him pretty much interacting with the normal society a lot more in the manga than what we do in the anime. In the anime, he's introduced as a beast and then it goes straight into fighting, and you don't really get to see all the fights during the pre-Annihilation Tournament that you do in the manga that is shown in the anime as well. And then some fights during the anime are also shortened or completely changed somewhat. A prime example of this is Wakatsuki versus Gozo in the first round. In the anime, Wakatsuki just goes in, blast core, 1-punch KO'd Gozo, while in the manga the fight was actually more of a fight actually. Gozo able to land attacks him, able to land some damage, land some kicks, and the fight actually happened. It did end in the same way with Wakatsuki going for his almighty big Chad punch on him, but the fight was more unique and dragged out, and it was more of a fight than what it was in the anime. The way backstory flashbacks that are done in the anime is done in a very unique and interesting way. It's pretty much a more newer art style that they choose to do for the flashbacks, and they do it very fast paced, but not too fast, where it gives you a sense of the character's flashback and having some type of care for them. It is more dragged out and longer in the manga, but it's still very similar, and in some cases, many cases actually, I prefer the way the flashbacks are handled in the anime, because most times you only want to watch the fights, you don't really care about many of the side stuff, and that's another point. In the anime, you do get to see many of the side stuff and the foreshadowing of future events that happen in the anime and that will happen in later parts of the anime, but it's more fleshed out and more noticeable in the manga than what you would get in the anime. For the manga near the start, the art isn't the best near the start, but as the Annihilation Tournament got a little bit into it after a couple fights, the art started picking up, and by the end of the Annihilation Tournament or the Ashura manga, the art was top tier greatness, especially when you got those Kuroki Gensai almighty Chad beard fights. The art of him was just greatness, and as the story went on, the art improved and improved, and it kept going. Even now in a manga, the art just keeps getting more insane, and in my opinion, it's some of the best looking art that I've seen in all of the manga I've read. The director of the anime has worked on some well-renowned and popular anime such as Angel Beats, Assassination Classrooms, and Classroom of the Elite, of the ones I have watched and can vouch for their greatness. He has worked on a lot more things, but they're the only ones that I've seen from his work, and they're all solid. And from what I've gathered for the Ashura, it's adapting most stuff from the manga, but not everything. It's skipping past a lot of the longer drawn out fights that happened prior to the Annihilation and some early stages, and having a more focused on the more built up and hype fights. A prime example of this is Kure Rain versus Oma. That was probably one of the most hype fights in the manga, and you can really tell they were aware of this from reading the manga and trying trying to adapt it into anime, and they had a big focus on that fight, which was great to see. A common occurrence for fans of Kengan is that for people who have only watched the anime or picked up the manga from where the anime left off is trying to get a connection with Oma and his development. So I recommend, if you haven't already, I was the same. I finished the first season of the anime, then read the manga from there, and then watched the second season, and so and so. But I highly recommend going back and reading the start of the Kengan Ashura manga to get a more of an understanding of the characters and have a more of a bond to Oma and other characters, and learn more about them and have more of an understanding of his goals and everything about that, which can be quite confusing based on the anime's adaptation of it. And as a whole, the anime and manga is great. From reading and watching either of them, I'm gonna have to side with the manga, even once the anime is finished, and which will, who knows when we're gonna get another season. Nothing's been confirmed. I've seen quite a few videos and random websites making articles going over the possibility of a season 3 and going over, in my opinion, fake release dates. From what I know and from what I've looked at, there's no official release date of Kengan Ashura season 3 or any confirmation that they're not or are working on it, so just be wary of any of those. And I will make a video once we get an official confirmation of a season 3 or official confirmation that it's been dropped or something along those lines, so be sure I'll make a video, so make sure to subscribe and all that greatness. But to make my final 100% judgment, I'll have to see the rest of Kengan Ashura and how they handle the election, especially with some great fights coming up. Prime examples that will be in next season will be Wakatsuki vs Joyce, which is one of the greatest fights in the whole series, and Kano vs Gao Lang, which is my personal favorite fight in the whole series. So once we get those fights and see how well done those are, especially with Gao Lang and Kano being one of the longest fights in the series, is see how they handled that with it being top tier greatness in the manga. If they handled that at the same level or slightly lower, the anime will have even more promise in season 3. From this point, from what I've seen, the manga is much better than the anime. Hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, let me know down in the comments. Let me know which you prefer, the anime or the manga. I'd love to hear what your thoughts are down in the comments. And that's it, guys. Peace.